you might actually be dreaming right now and not know it. There's no real way of knowing whether you, as yourself right now, exist in reality. So, we're talking about layers of reality, and I'm going to explain why it may or may not be impossible to actually know. I'm Snake with Legs, and thanks for joining me in this video. So, basically, the human body has five senses, right? I think those are all the big ones, right? Sight, touch, smell, taste, and hearing. And then here's you, right? So basically, you're in this black box, and the only way to know that there's a reality outside of your own awareness of being is your senses. And even like to know that you yourself exist, you kind of need to know that you have a body. Although personally, I don't think that's actually the case for most people. Their experience of reality might be that way, like, oh, I know I exist because I'm here. But I've had experiences where I'm not here, but I know I still exist. So that's I digress. That being said, basically you're trapped in a box, and the only way to know of reality outside yourself is through these five senses. That's a problem because your brain interprets the sense data coming in through these ports, and there may be problems with these connections. So you might see a bird. There's my bird, and it's coming in through your sight perception, but you have bad eyes, so it comes in blurry. Blue green. Your eyes are broken, so you see blurry image of a bird. Basically, you approximate reality based off of like the average of sense data. So you know your eyes are blurry because you know that's just your eyes. There's a real world out there, and you're in here. And I think if you do have disabilities like this or problems with your brain, uh, inconsistencies, uh, I think you're a little more aware of the limitations on experience. But for most people, you wouldn't realize that it's actually going through the filter of your mind. The only way to know that you're not asleep is because of the continuity of your experience. So you go to sleep, you wake up, you remember from the past you went to sleep and you woke up. That continuity of experience is inside your brain. So the experience of the outside world is not an actual external experience, it's an internal experience that you experience through memory and through your brain processing or inventing time. Time is a mental construct. And because it's a mental construct, time changes as your brain changes. So when you go to sleep, you might not know that you're asleep because your brain's telling you, oh, yeah, uh, like I've had dreams, and I know other people have had dreams where they've like gone whole weeks in their dreams, or it's been years. And how can you experience years of time in a matter of a couple hours while you're asleep? That's a bit odd. So basically the idea is that you are trapped in this black box, and your mind is the thing that decides, okay, there's this external reality that I'm going to assume exists, and I'm going to take in the data that I'm receiving and construct it in a way that's um, consistent and coherent. So that's fine and dandy, right? You have a consistent experience. That's great. Uh, the problem is when you have experiences that break that consistency. So if you're born, you never experience anything weird, you might have a completely consistent experience from birth till death, and that's your reality, your existence. If that line, that continuity ever gets broken, then you'll start to realize that the reality you call this reality real is just a layer of experience. So it's like a bubble. And then within this bubble, you have the dream state. And we're going to just go back this way. So within reality, you have a dream where, you're 50 years old and you have a family and all this stuff, you fought in World War II or whatever. But it's in here, right? So you have this experience, and then sleep is an experience within that. And while you're inside the dream experience, you forget about the other reality that's outside of that. So if it can go inwards, then theoretically, it should be able to go outwards. So you might have an experience, or you might not have an experience of waking up to a reality that's higher than this consistent reality that we call, physical reality here. Uh, and you might theoretically break out of that one and go to an even higher level of experience where you realize, oh, that reality where I realize this reality is a dream is actually just another dream. And that can keep going on and on, presumably or theoretically forever. So you might never fully break out of the illusion of experience. So, like, is there a limit, right? Is there a limit to how far out you go? Is there a limit to how far in you go? This is the matrix of reality, the illusion of existence. Uh, it could be called Maya, and I like that word because, like the way it was explained to me, that made a lot of sense. Is that this matrix? I think of it as the natural matrix of reality. It's the thing that we all exist within. It's the Earth. It's the natural evolution of, biology. Basically, it's the force of nature, and it creates this physical reality that we all perceive and we all more or less agree on, depending who you ask. So, this certain layer of reality, this material reality, you can think of it as a green screen, right? And this green screen is a projection. Where this projection is coming from, we don't know because, or I mean, you could say it's uh, God, because the experience, again, you're inside a black box. This is all your mind interpreting things. So if you can go inward, right, into another dream, which is an experience within your head, and technically this physical reality you're experiencing is also inside your head, then any layer, like this purple layer, any layer going outward is theoretically going to be inside your head. So all of it is taking place inside your head. It's just perspective. So back to the physical reality, the green screen, Maya. Uh, the way it was explained to me that made a lot of sense is that your heart is, there's a way to spell heart. So if we spell heart, you get earth. So heart and earth are the same thing, and the color correlated or correspondent to those is green. And we use green screens to project illusions onto. So basically, the illusion of yourself, your personal experience, is a projection from the heart onto Maya. And that's what gives you the consistent experience of the material world. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a bit messy, right? It's a bit messy, I think, because I think it's iffy because we all basically agree on this reality, right? This material reality. If we all can agree on, more or less on a consistent reality, then that means that it's not an individual experience. This physical level of reality is not purely subjective. So even though I'm saying like, oh, heart is basically equal to Maya, the earth, and it's all a projection from ourself onto this material plane, it's really not, because even though we're all inside this solipsistic box where nothing can really, we can't really touch reality, the physical reality. We can't ever truly know something outside of ourselves, if you're understanding what I'm saying, then Why is it that we all agree more or less on the same thing? And why is it that other people are able to disagree with us or be inconsistent? So, if it's all a dream, right, and it's all taking place inside your head, why don't you have full control over that dream? There must be something governing that the consistent experience we all have. I believe this is God or the mind of God. It's something outside of us that is basically holding continuity of experience. Uh, Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I just wanted to share this because uh, a friend called me and was asking about Gnosticism and about the demiurge and the material world being evil. That's what Gnosticism basically comes down to. It's like the edgy version of Christianity, where you want to escape the material world because material is bad. But I have a lot of reasons to disagree with that. One of them being all experience is like material, the material physicality part of nature. Like you pick something up, it's solid. This the solidity is an illusion. So there is no material matter to actually transcend or reject. The dichotomy between material and consciousness is an illusion created by our minds because we can't cope with two contradictory ideas coexisting at the same time. That's why it's not really helpful to argue about the difference between matter and consciousness, because you can't have one without the other. And if you say, like, oh, if I died, then the world would keep on going without me, yes, it would, but also there's no real way of proving that because you'd be gone, so you won't be able to prove that. I'll be able to prove that just because you're gone, I'm still experiencing this world, but that doesn't really prove to myself that it is a non-subjective experience. So, because I believe in this mind of God consciousness soup that is holding everything together outside of the individual, I don't believe that reality is entirely subjective. So, how I view it is, I'm going to get rid of our little black box guy. How I think of it is that I'm going to use purple again because I like purple. Uh, Basically, we're all these different orbs or microcosms of reality, individuality, subjective experience. Uh, but at the same time, we're all connected and we all have certain experiences uh, that are common. And somehow this our subjective experience of life is somehow brought together into a collective experience, and I think that that is really amazing. uh, I think that's really cool, because how can you have a subjective experience, how you can have both of those at the same time in an objective reality that's also subjective is kind of incredible. It's crazy. It's a wonder of nature, I suppose. If you have any ideas or questions about this sort of stuff, I like thinking about it. So just ask any questions if you got them. And I'm really proud of how far the channel has come, how many subscribers I've gained. I want to keep that up and keep bringing in more people that are, you know, interested in having cool discussions about reality and life. So, yeah, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, support a local independent content creator. Ugh. Gonna just gag myself, God. All right. Have a good night. Bye bye.